Oh, that's got it.
I'm gonna move it, they have school, they have decisions to make. All right, great, thank you. Good evening, welcome to this public meeting of the Princeton Board of Education. The board is an elected, unpaid group of 10 citizens who set policy and make decisions on educational, financial, and personnel matters for the Princeton Public Schools on behalf of all residents. We're always pleased when members of the community attend our meetings. The board and school district operate under applicable New Jersey laws and under regulations of the New Jersey State Board of Education. Each meeting includes an opportunity for those attending to comment on items on the published agenda or other matters of interest to them. The board reserves a right to limit the time allotted to public participation. The law limits discussion of individual personnel and confidential matters. We hope our meetings provide useful opportunities for communication between the board and the community. Thank you for attending.
As required under the Open Public Meeting Act, NJSA 1046 et sequential, adequate notice was given for calling this meeting. It was authorized by the Board of Education and forwarded to the municipal clerk, Princeton Packet, and the Trenton Times on January 9, 2025. It was distributed to the schools and others on the standard distribution list. The budget was advertised on April 25, 2025. The board reserves the right to enter an executive session during all meetings of the Board of Education. Board Policy 168, recording devices, requires that we inform those attending this meeting that the proceedings are being recorded. This meeting is being live streamed. The representative of the sending district is authorized to vote on such matters that affect sending district students or affect the governance of the Princeton Public Schools, as more specifically designated in NJSA 18A38.1. Sending district votes pertaining to personnel actions refer to high school, central administrative, and district-wide staff only. Votes otherwise are considered abstentions. In the event this statute is amended, the bylaw shall take precedence over this. The statute shall take precedence over this bylaw.
Thank you. Mr. Bolden, would you please call the roll?
Sure. Daphne Kendall.
Here.
Beth Barron.
Here.
Debbie Bronfeld.
Here.
Mara Franceschi.
Here.
Eleanor Hubbard.
Here.
Susan Cantor.
Here.
Ari Mizell.
Here.
Chris Santarpio.
Here.
Catherine Lara.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you, Mr. Bolden. So we're going to adopt 2 minutes. Just remember, if you were here for those meetings, the first one, adoption of the minutes for March 18th, 2025. Mara, second. Beth?
Daphne Kendall.
Yes.
Beth Barron. Debbie Bronfeld.
Abstain.
Mara Franceschi.
Yes.
Eleanor Hubbard.
Yes.
Susan Cantor.
Yes.
Ari Mizell.
Yes.
Chris Santarpio.
Yes.
Catherine Lara.
Yes.
I know that all of you weren't here all the time. That's why I said it.
I'll correct it afterwards if I've
Yeah.
signed it.
But you
Take
were.
care. Don't worry about it.
This next one, I don't think so. Right?
That was a special meeting 2 weeks
Right.
ago.
No,
No, 3 weeks ago. Sorry.
you weren't here. Okay. Can I get a motion for the adoption of the minutes for April 9th? Debbie, second. Eleanor?
Daphne Kendall.
Yes.
Beth Barron.
Yes.
Debbie Bronfeld.
Yes.
Mara Franceschi.
Yes.
Eleanor Hubbard.
Yes.
Susan Cantor.
Yes.
Ari Mizell.
Abstain.
Chris Santarpio.
Yes.
And Catherine Lara.
Abstain.
Thank you. Motion passes.
All right, thank you, Mr. Bolden. Welcome to this meeting. We have a lot to go through tonight, including some appointments and the budget hearing. But first, we always like to remind everyone why we're here, and we are here for the kids. So we have a presentation led by Johnson Park teacher Jenna Palusa, and she's going to come up and talk to us about future problem solvers. And if you could just let us know the kids that are here and just their first names, that'd be great.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Okay. Let me first ask, do I have
Oh,
to use the
district-wide,
microphone?
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry?
They told me you were from Johnson Park, but you're district.
I am district, yes.
The kids are from Johnson Park, you're district. Wide.
Yes, yes. Do I have to use the microphone? I kind of like to
No, you can do
move
whatever
around
you
a little
want.
bit. Okay, fantastic. So thank you everybody for having me here tonight. So we have Caitlin Fan here tonight, who is from Johnson Park. She is 5th grade, and then we have Maj Chahal. She's actually from Littlebrook, and she is in 4th grade. So they have a little piece that they would like to share with you, and I would like to honor everybody's time tonight. So I apologize if I speak quickly, But I am here as your Quest coordinator, which, if you're not aware, is our kindergarten through 5th grade gifted programming here at Princeton Public Schools. So what I would like to highlight tonight are some of the amazing accomplishments that our students have, kind of been through this year, and just celebrate them a little bit. So I'm sorry, please. Next slide. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so the one part of the program that I am really going to highlight this evening is Future Problem Solving, which is Future Problem Solving Program International is a global academic program that teaches students to really think critically and creatively about real world issues. And basically what they do is they offer a 6-step problem solving process. It's very rigorous, very in-depth, and they offer about 4 different tracks for students to utilize this problem solving process, 2 of which we have used in Princeton Public Schools this year. We have global issues, which is, as the name suggests, more of a global view, issues that are relevant right now, that are affecting the entire world. And they look at that and they come up with creative solutions through a futuristic lens. So things like food insecurity, rising sea levels, agricultural industry, things that are really relevant and going to be part of their future. And then community projects, which again, same problem solving process, but they are looking on a more local scale. So problems and issues that are happening right in their own backyards, in their local communities, and then developing an action plan and really getting hands-on with implementing that action plan. Next slide, please. So at the 4th grade level, we have the community projects track. That's happening at all 4 schools, all 4 elementary schools. And so just a kind of brief overview, Johnson Park, their group is called Root for Change, where they are actually continuing to work towards the problem of invasive species. And they are doing that by bringing awareness to the problem and actually working towards restoring the JP trails that are behind the school. Community Park with the Bureau of Bye Bye Bad Behavior, which they lovingly dub the BBBBB. They are working towards a student-led committee where they are coming up with creative and fun solutions to reduce unkind and unwanted behavior on the playground during recess. At Riverside, the Riverside Kicks are coming together to do another student-led program that helps new students come to Riverside, seamlessly and more comfortably, and kind of make that transition more smooth for those students. And then we have Maude, if you wouldn't mind giving us a little overview of what you were doing at Littlebrook. So, come on up, darling.
Should I put this?
You want them to see it?
Let me want them to see too.
Okay. Can we maybe take?
Yep, yeah, definitely.
Is that okay now? Did I put this way? Okay, I'm gonna put this here. Let's see if we can make that happen. All right, Maj, go ahead.
Hi everyone, I'm here to talk about our team's goal to decrease the use of single-use plastics in Littlebrook Elementary. Our first step to reach that goal was to research about single-use plastics and gather as much information as we can to help us reach our goal in our project. The second step we took was we made a survey for all the kids in Littlebrook to take. We learned that Littlebrook students didn't know much about single-use plastic, so we needed to inform them of this huge problem. When we got to the state bowl, we felt nervous, but we did a great job, and we got complimented even though we were one of the youngest teams there. Even though we didn't win and go to international, we still had a great time, and it's all thanks to our teacher, Mrs. Pulika.
Yeah, they did a fantastic job. A fantastic job. Yeah, created a website, so the website is here. So excellent job. Thank you so much for sharing that. All right, excellent. Thank you. You can go to the next slide, please. Okay, so then at the 5th grade level, we had the Global Issues competition. That was, again, across the different schools. And what you'll see here in these pictures is because there's one of me and so many of them spread across the district, we actually, the district was so accommodating to allow us to all travel to CP on the same day. And all 4 teams competed at the same time. And actually all 4 teams made it to the state level, which is fantastic. Yes, amazing. The topic that we studied for that particular round was nanotechnology. Yeah. So I heard that and I was like, oh boy. But they did it, which was fantastic. Their future scene was centered on nanoparticle enhanced swimsuits. So yeah, very much. Next slide, please. So there we all are, all 8 teams, 26 students at the FPS NJ State Bowl back in March. We had a great time. They were so enthusiastic, had so much fun, just so proud to be there representing PPS. And my favorite part of that whole day was when one of the affiliates for New Jersey, I have been coaching this for several years prior to coming here. And when I came to Princeton, I was like, we have to bring FPS to Princeton. So they know me from prior, and they were like, oh, look at you, like putting Princeton on the map. I was like, you don't even know. And then next slide, please. The icing on the cake was when we took first place. Yes. So our team at Johnson Park, they took first place for the junior division for that booklet on nanotechnology, and they have been invited to Bloomington, Indiana in June to compete at the World Finals. So where our topic is the future of history. So we will be researching. We're actually currently researching, the preservation of history as we know it, from this standpoint.
Do they get new T-shirts in June, or do they have to wear those again?
Well, they're going to bring those to represent New Jersey,
Okay.
for sure. And actually, our very own Penelope is going to be the flag bearer for New Jersey because she is the youngest competitor for New Jersey that's going to the competition. 5th grade. Yeah. Yes. So the competition starts, I think 4th grade is the youngest that you can be, but 5th grade were the youngest winners. Yeah, absolutely. Very, very great. So this is really amazing. I mean, as you can see, all the smiles on their faces, so many different skills embedded just in this program. Communication, collaboration, research. I just have nothing but good things to say about it. And now on top of that, they have the pride of being able to represent their district and their hometown on a global scale. So really, really fantastic. One more slide, please. Okay, so I wanted you to hear from some of the stars themselves. We heard from Maj. A couple of these other students were not able to be here tonight, though they really tried. But we do have Caitlin. So Caitlin, if you wouldn't mind coming up and telling us a little bit about your experience. Thank you.
So my name is Caitlin, and I'm sorry.
Yeah, there you go.
My name is Caitlin, and basically, I think what I learned the most from Quest is how to communicate, because there's a 2-hour time frame, and where it's I learned how to communicate with my peers, so I didn't do the same things as them and what they were working on. And then also, I think the biggest challenge that I personally faced was time management. Before the competition, when to research, and during the competition, we actually made a time management plan, organizing our time, so we could put maximum effort into everything. And then lastly, I think what I enjoyed the most about it was winning, because it was just because it was nice to see all our efforts pay off. Okay.
Great. Thank you, Caitlin. Thank you so much. All right, thank you. Last slide. Thank you so much. To learn more about the competition, I have some links here on the slideshow. And if you want to just advance one more slide, there is a QR code for this slideshow so that you have access to those links. But thank you so much for your time tonight. Again, I am Jenna Peluso. If you have any questions about Quest or future problem solving, please don't hesitate to reach out.
Thank you.
So
And
much.
let us know how it goes in June. Ms. Pelusa, let us know how it goes in June.
I will. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So we're going to move things around a little bit. We're going to go to the student board members' reports because they need to go to school tomorrow. Yeah.
All right.
Hello. There's so many good things to talk about. I feel like I wish I had more substance for you, but really there's just a lot of good news from PHS. One of the things that we kind of wanted to focus on this year that we've seen a big change in is the growth of student engagement with student council. And so we had PHS Got Talent, which was a wonderful success. We gave away like $200 in prize money, which we also raised money by doing it. So it was a net positive. And Mr. Lenahan was nice enough to judge for us, as was my brother, which was not a conflict of interest in any way
Did you win?
at all. I played banjo while they were counting the votes. That way there was no issue.
Mm.
And then, yeah, I did give myself all the money at the end, of course. That's a joke. That's a joke. But we had a great time, and we had like so many people come out, parents and classmates. We think it'll grow next year. One of the most notable acts, this was actually the act that won. It was Kazoo Capella, and it was our, like pretty much half the choir came and did these beautiful arrangements we've been working on all year, but each one of them had a kazoo. And it was like an angel crying in my ears. It was incredible. So that was great. We've had more kids come in student council meetings who aren't in student council, and that's great because it means that they know that it's happening and they know that we can actually do things through student council. One thing we are working on is restructuring the actual division of roles, because right now we run as president, vice president, secretary, and treasurer, and then you get there and we're all doing the same thing. And so we're fixing that. I've suggested an authoritarian student council in which I can remain emperor for life, but I don't think Miss Lee wants that. So we're back to democracy.
Well, for now.
For now. For now.
Yeah. Speaking of student council, so as you know, our prom is very soon. It's just over a month. So prom committee has been working very, very hard. If you didn't know, our theme this year is masquerade.
Ooh.
So the theme colors would be white, gold, and black. We were very thrilled about that one. And Miss Lagas, of course, we just want to give her a special shout out because she's been working so hard for prom and trying to make everything work. She's been contacting vendors and everything. So we're very excited about the final results. Also, our tower doors finally have opened. Round of applause. So I think everyone's very excited about not having to funnel through one door. We have multiple now. Or I think it's two now. I think it's two bigger doors. So I think that's very nice. And also, we have increased security. So like the IDs are now necessary and not just Power School.
I did have a question about the IDs, which was outside all the bathrooms, we have a little thing where
Scanner.
theoretically you should be able to scan the ID. That's not being used. Are we planning on putting those in, or they're just there?
No one's told us that they're going to scan kids going to the bathroom.
Because
Okay.
they got installed. They got installed a few months ago, I believe. Unless they've always been there. I thought they got.
I don't think
installed.
they have. I feel like
I
they were
think
new
they
this
got
year.
installed a few months ago, but I don't know if they're planning on using
The
it.
most important, I think, is the access to the doors, in and
Yeah.
out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But let us know if they start scanning you. into
I'll
the
let you know.
Yeah.
That'll
Yeah.
be
We're not aware.
a new experience.
That'll be
Um,
interesting.
Yeah, and
And
we
then-
don't want that. We want to know where. We want to know where. I mean, the reason we're doing it is not to be
Mhm.
authoritative.
Right.
We want to know where the kids are.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
But we don't need to know exactly
Yeah.
where you are or how long you've been there.
And we have heard from teachers
Or maybe we do.
concerns about students being out in the hallways more. And it's been very good actually to see teachers be a little more strict with this. I think they got some advising of how to deal with this, how to get students to actually stay in class. Which we always stay in class because we love class, and that's of course. But there's always kids, especially with the 90-minute block periods, people take little breaks. But that won't be a problem next year. I think all the things that we love about school will be the same next year, and all the things that we don't love will be entirely different next year. So we're set.
Thank you.
And then one last thing I wanted to say is that as per Quest, my little brother Hugo is in it, and he loves it, and he talks about it every day. So I'm so happy that exists.
Good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And honestly, my only concern about having the ID scan is that it's usually it's in the back of my phone case. It's I think it's the back of most kids' phone cases. So you'll be taking your phone to the bathroom, which I don't know if the teachers want to encourage that. We'll see.
Oh, that's a good point.
But yeah, I'm just putting it out there. And I don't think anyone just carries around their ID. I have it on my phone. I don't know if you do that also. Well,
I
you have
always
flip-flop-
bring
you
the
have
ID to
flip-flop.
school.
And the final thing, speaking of which, that we wanted to bring up was just about finishing strong. You know, we have a month and a half left. We have APs in a week. Everyone's very stressed, but I think we also want to take a moment to step back and recognize how far we've come and just like wrapping up the end of the year, as we know, the seniors.
It's true.
But yeah, which definitely staying in school.
Yeah.
Definitely finishing
Yeah, I'm
strong.
there every day.
But yeah, that's everything we have for today.
Okay, well,
Thank
thank you,
y'all.
and enjoy it.
Appreciate it.
We will.
So now we have one more item, and then we're going to take a little break. Can I get a motion for the appointment of business administrator and board secretary? Mara, second, Debbie. Okay, so tonight on the agenda, we have, because Matt's leaving us, we have a vacancy. The appointment that we're going to vote on in a minute of Andrew Harris as board secretary and business administrator. He maybe will join us from South Hunterdon Regional School District, where he spent the last 4 years as school district BA and board secretary, where he was responsible for managing the budget, large scale construction projects, and very important here in Princeton, HVAC replacement. You do not know how important HVAC is till you come to Princeton, but hopefully someone told you that. We're excited. What I'm most excited about is your Mr. Harris's experience as a teacher before he became a business administrator, and we're very excited that this perspective will ensure your decisions are always student-centered, balancing fiscal responsibility with a commitment to supporting teaching and learning, which is why we're all here. So with that, can we get a vote, please?
Daphne Kendall,
Yes.
Beth Barron,
Yes.
Debbie Bronfeld,
Yes.
Mara Franceschi,
Yes.
Eleanor Hubbard,
Yes.
Susan Cantor,
Yes.
Ari Mizell,
Yes.
Chris Santarpio,
Yes.
Catherine Lara.
Yes.
It's unanimous.
Okay, welcome to Princeton, Mr. Harris. I don't know if you want to say a few words. You don't have to, but everyone's going to want to see who you are anyway, so.
I just wanted to say thank you first. I'm very, very excited for this opportunity, and I'm looking forward to working with all of you. I'm really excited. This is a great place to be, and I'm looking forward to the future. So thank you.
Thank you. And what I didn't mention and what I really appreciate is that when we all met you, you had a great sense of humor, which is, again, another thing that's very important here. You know, it's probably like a school district business administrator sense of humor, but that's our sense of humor too. So, you know, we appreciate it. But we.
You saying like dad jokes or something?
Yeah,
I've
we
been
think
accused of
Matt.
that in my life.
We think Matt's very funny, so you'll be great.
Funny looking, maybe.
No. But anyway, right now we're going to take a few minutes. We're going to get a motion to adjourn. Mara, second, Susan. All in favor? And we're going to take like what time? It is 7:59. We'll be back at 8:15. Thank you. Okay.
Everyone came back? Yeah.
Are we good?
Yep.
Do we need to do any motion to
Nope.
go back? Great. And so
Everyone came
now
back.
we're moving on to superintendent comments with Dr. Foster.
Good evening, everyone. We're going to keep the celebration going because we have some really great news. Last month, I shared some data for the strategic priorities for the 2024-25 school year. And now we're going to highlight some other data focused on our student academics. And so let me just move this a little bit. Okay. All right. I'm happy to present a review of where we are with our priorities for the 2024-25 school year. I want to begin by saying that these promising results have only happened because of the amazing efforts of the full Princeton Public Schools community. When we shine a light on what's important, our students' learning experience, it becomes an important call to action. So I always start with gratitude. I want to extend my deep appreciation to Dr. Tu, who has led this vision and led the critical and urgent work on behalf of our students. I also want to shout out to the supervisors and the building administrators who have worked collaboratively together to really take the time to review the data. Thank you to our curriculum experts, Supervisor of Elementary Education, Sarah Moore, and MTSS Supervisor Lauren Samara, who have really been instrumental in many of this year's initiatives. Of course, also, we can't neglect the instructional coaches, Dan Hardiker and Mary Ellen Waller, who've worked with classroom teachers to assist in implementing new curriculum and instructional strategies with fidelity. And kudos goes to the classroom teachers and instructional aides who really have opened their classrooms and their hearts for new ways of learning and teaching. This year, too, we're really excited because the general education teachers collaborated with the special education teachers, and they had shared goals so that they had the same high expectations for all of the students in our care. So I just am really excited about that. So I want to just talk about kindness, of course, again, because that is something that has been an initiative every single year. And we know that kindness extends beyond simple acts of generosity and politeness, although those are always appreciated. As a school district, much of the way we show kindness is to do everything we can to create a safe, positive, supportive, and inclusive learning environment for our students. For the adults, we engage in direct and honest communication, set clear and consistent expectations, identify areas of need, and with all of that said, therefore, we create that culture of kindness. So that's really important. And then I always like to highlight our mission and our promise to prepare all students to lead lives of joy and purpose as knowledgeable, creative, and compassionate citizens of a global society. I'm going to just quickly highlight the 4 priorities for the year, and we're going to talk a little bit about each one. The first year strategic goal focuses on early years, ages 3 to grade 3. And then strategic goal 2, we highlighted last month. So we're going to skip that one today and then move on to strategic goal 3, opportunity and achievement for all, and strategic goal 4, preparation for a meaningful life beyond Princeton Public Schools. So that's where we're focused today. So we're going to talk about collective priority 1 first, ages 3 to grades 3. And there were 2 specific target goals this year, one for preschool and one for the elementary schools. So the preschool, we had as new IEPs were created and reviewed. The special education team worked collaboratively to craft those goals, utilizing the preschool assessment gold in efforts to better align for our preschool day and our integration. And then the elementary schools had a math goal. So let's look at the preschool data first. So if you can see that, hopefully I'm not moving too fast. Sorry, Matt.
Am I?
The next page, if you can go to the
Oh.
next one.
Got it.
So all areas, so you can see that the top shows the fall, the social, emotional, physical, language, cognitive, literacy, and math. And you can see the below meets and exceeds expectations. And then you can see the winter. So Dr. Nasco's been partnering with special education to review the IEPs to include developmental goals from Teaching Strategies Gold. If you notice on this slide, you'll see some of the goals for social emotional learning growth, physical development, language, literacy, and math. She has another meeting planned with all elementary child study team members in 2 weeks to review data and set future goals. But you can see that there is an increase from the fall onto the winter.
Can I ask a question?
Sure, please.
On the winter, just stop, that's fine.
Yeah.
The top graph. So.
The fall.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
So we're, meet expectations. I
Mhm.
mean, nobody's exceeding. And I guess, is that a lot of pressure or something?
So, these are developmental. Oh, I should probably put my mic on. So these are widely held expectations that are developmentally appropriate goals. So in the fall of pre-K, they really shouldn't be a ton of students meeting or exceeding expectations, let's just say. And it's across several domains. So it's not just academic, but especially social emotional. That's what we see what our biggest needs in pre-K are, whether in special ed or in general education, are those social skills and the ability to communicate needs. So if you go down a little bit, Matt, you will see that in the winter, we have more green, right?
Yeah.
And then the
The green
goal
is
would be to
increased.
have even more green come the spring round of assessments. Yep.
Thank you.
Mhm.
And we'll go to the next slide, elementary math data. So here are math data points for Linkit. That's the top chart. And iReady, which is the bottom chart. Bubble means students who are expected to meet expectations, so right on the cusp. In second, third, and fifth, we've already met our 75% goal. Fourth is not quite there yet, but we will be administering the spring benchmark next month for the final data review. If you look down at the iReady math, for iReady, the two columns per color show the change from fall to winter. So you can see like 20% to 40%. Overall, we're seeing very positive trends in increasing meeting and exceeding expectations and early on grade level and decreasing 2-3 grade levels below expectations. Okay. We'll go to the next slide. Here's our elementary ELA data. DRA is a reading assessment, and you will see how students have grown on or above reading level from fall to winter. We expect growth to continue for the spring. We've had one round of Linkit assessment, and we'll compare winter with our spring that happens in May. For iReady, as in with math, we are seeing positive growth in meeting and exceeding expectations and the reduction in students in the 2-3 grade levels below expectations. Okay, we'll go to the next one. So here are the next steps in the process. Math growth and data are all trending in a very positive direction. So what I want to say is there has been a lot of emphasis on professional development, and that includes our instructional coaches going in and co-teaching and modeling, and also some peer observations as well. So teachers that are confident in some of the instructional strategies open their classrooms for others to join in around math workshops and best practices. And then ELA, again, observes significant benefits from MC. Remember, that's the Orton-Gillingham multisensory approach in the K-3 classrooms, and that will be expanding the program to K-5 model in fall of 2025. So there are a lot of new initiatives for our elementary classroom teachers next fall. Our ELA program was under review with pilot implementations, and the ELA, all of that has been completed. We're excited to recommend arts and letters, and I think it's on the board agenda tonight, which is perfect timing for the 25-26 school year. Arts and Letters is a knowledge building program that emphasizes deep comprehension and aligns with NJSLA, and that's the state student learning assessment. It also may help address some of the deficits that may be identified in Lincoln. All right, so now we're going to focus on collective priority 3. And this is really our math grades 7 and grade 8. So we have some data. There is more data to come. So I'm going to just go to the next slide. Students who have been placed in math lab, this is the goal, will increase their NJSLA score from spring 2024 to 2025 by an average of 10 points. We have not administered the NJSLA just yet. It's coming up. This is the merry month of May, which is our testing month for our students. But in the meantime, they've been really working hard in that math lab to strengthen some of the skills they need. 20 students qualified to exit, and that's always a good sign. We want them to provide the support that they need, but we also then want them to be independent. So 3 students in 6th grade, 9 in 7th, and 8 in 8th grade, and then approximately a 10-point increase. And 80% better in math class. So stay tuned. And I know usually NJSLA is administered in May. The results don't come until probably right at end of July, August. And we know that we look forward to Dr. Tu's presentation. She always does. Long presentation in September. Okay. And then the secondary ELA data. This is all students at PMS enrolled in English lab will increase their score by 10 points. Students at PMS take diagnostic assessment in Linkit, 6th grade, and Common Lit. These assessments help us identify areas of strength and for growth, help develop learning opportunities to meet student needs. We also have English Lab at the middle school this year to provide targeted small group support for students with reading and writing needs. The data mentioned here is for students in the English Lab. And if you probably don't remember last year, but one of the ways in which we maximized our personnel is we repurposed some of our personnel last year to give some support for these students in this English lab. 6th grade, 31% of students moved to being beyond grade level in Common Lit, and the majority of students scale scored increase in every grade. So again, we really want to look forward to the NJSLA, but we have some promising results so far. Okay. Next steps. Math growth and data are all trending in the positive direction again. We're happy that 20 students are exited from our math lab, and that always creates space to invite more students mid-year. Our most struggling students were invited for before school tutoring. That's the tier 3 tutoring that we are grateful for Princeton University to help fund. NJSLA boot camp is currently offered for students who exit math lab or might be close to that 750 cutoff. And then I do want to give a shout out also to Tiffany Brennan and Dr. Tu, who have really worked hard to realign the 6th through 8th grade curriculum and the placement process, which we are finding has been very successful in students' math achievement. And then ELA average scaled scores increased at every grade level. There is a boot camp also for ELA, and then the Common Lit will be administered in May. All right, secondary math data. So this, this is, okay. We have yet to participate in NJSLA, but are trending with our iReady growth to support students in Math Lab Tier 2 support program. So you can kind of see how that works. I'm on the wrong, yeah, hold on one second. There we go, collective, how about that? Collective priority 4. Okay, this is twofold, so we're gonna highlight the first one, and I know Dr. Tu will be talking about the second piece of it, which is that portrait of a graduate skill specifically later. But we're gonna focus on our high school 9th and 10th graders to make sure that they are on track to graduate with multiple indicators with attendance, emotional and mental health, course grades, and GPA. Okay, so we're going to go here. 9th and 10th graders on track to graduate. That's just sort of highlighting it again, the goal. Here's a snapshot of the success. One of the things that has helped with attendance is the implementation of the new bell schedule. There's a consistent 5-day rotation, so that allows students to attend class and be on time. Preservation of Tiger Time still. They've really worked hard to improve attendance monitoring in a variety of ways. And number of class cutting has decreased 12%. Okay. The successful implementation of Tier 2 Student Assistance Program. If you remember, this again was a commitment last year to take over and work on 2-tier mental health services for our students. So we had a social worker and a counselor who really worked to take groups of students to support them. And this is amazing because when we had a professional program outside contractor work with us, we did not get the amount of students that we are allowed with pupil contact time here. So this is really exciting. 1,200 plus student contact time logged by 3 Tier 2 student assistant counselors. We have a teacher who is very passionate and founded counseling for a group of girls that has been very successful. And then also some Tier 1 students also have been benefited from the experience as well. So that will continue next year. I think on the reappointment, you'll see that support as well. Okay. Also, the success and expansion of Saturday Academy. Saturday Academy was a way to make up time in seat, get credits for classes that are missed. But I want to commend the high school and counseling staff and lots of wonderful teachers who now are giving some really targeted support in the areas of math and English language arts when they sit on Saturday. It used to be more of like what I would say is a homework time in a sense. Now they're actually doing some targeted assistance. And I love the quote, I like learning now. So sometimes that's a great, small, safe way to learn and develop some skills. And an ELA section has been added to the program this spring. So that's really good news. And then all English as second language students in the English Plus program successfully passed the AccuPlacer test. This is exciting. This is a graduation requirement on their first attempt. This is one of the ways, remember the graduation requirement, you either would have to pass the NJ GPA, their SAT, ACT, but many of our multilingual students don't always get a chance to take some of those courses. So the AccuPlacer is another good test to support that work. And then all students in Math Plus and English Plus classes have met the graduation requirements. So that is really fantastic news. Okay, and that is it for now. Yay. Any questions? So what I will say is stay tuned. We continue to track the data, but again, I just, it does take a village. I so appreciate every single person's contribution in helping elevate our students in their success and achievement.
Thank you, Dr. Foster. We really appreciate the report and the update. Moving on now to the budget presentation, which hopefully is short.
Ouch.
Well,
Yes, I will make it short because a lot of it
This is the third
we've
time.
talked
yes.
over. Yes,
Yes.
exactly.
Yeah.
So we're
And
adopting
it's a board
the-
member's husband's birthday, and somehow
Yes.
someone thinks I have control over the length of the meeting.
We already
Oh,
had cake. So we
we-
won't
we
read the
cut
mission
that-
statement since Dr. Foster just read it.
Yep.
Strategic planning goals, we just went over. Budget calendar, we have to talk about that. So we're at the bottom now, passing the, adopting the budget, if you will. We have tentative adoption back in March. 6 weeks ago, the state approved our budget. We'll get into one of the big changes between the tentative adoption and now. And it's not that big, but it had to do with the issuance of debt. We talked about our budget drivers last time. Inflation is still out there. Healthcare costs are definitely driving things higher right now. That may change even more so when the GLP class of drugs become pill form versus injectable.
Yeah, and we know that's a point of focus, but I want you to know, I just want to, not for you, but the spend for the district. I want you to know that someone asked a board member if those GLP ones were for kids. So, yeah, so I just want, for the record, that's part of our self-funded prescription plan, right? For
Yes,
employees.
our self-funded RX plan.
Yes.
I actually have, I don't want to even, I don't know if I don't
Well,
think
not
they're
our- no,
prescribing them
our
for
students.
adolescents.
Not
For
not for
no,
students.
Not unless they're doc. Yeah.
No. So just to be clear, this is a benefit for staff and their families. Well,
Yes.
Matt's going to tell you that maybe kids could get it. So we're
Well,
not going to go there. You're right.
But it's not students.
No, it's not students.
Right.
No.
Employees.
All right. So
Anyway, I just wanted to point that out.
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. This is the chart of our debt service. We passed a large referendum on January 28th, 2025. So we are well underway with planning heavily with our professionals. Debt service is about 17% higher than the peak back in 2021. This is our tax impact overall because of the bonds. And I just want to point out, once again, we've been saying this a lot, we do say it a lot, but it's important to keep saying it that we had a tax break there for a number of years. We were planning for a long period of time. So there was a lot of debt service that did roll off the books. And then we slowly planned and passed referendum and are getting state debt service aid. So we are about 17% higher than we were. So that's driving the tax impact for the year. On average, the average, if you will, homeowner would pay about $440 more a year. This is our general fund tax levy increase, which this year is 2.91% because of the healthcare waiver, which the district needs to take to keep pace with healthcare inflation, which we just had a little discussion about. One small part of that. Our banked tax cap analysis, we have a little bit of expended healthcare waiver, about $13,000 that will be created this year. So not a lot. Our fund balance has increased significantly over the last 6 years. We're about $14.5 million. We are putting more money back into capital reserve after spending some over the last few years going back. The budget trends, salary and benefits are 75% of our budget. I mean, if you add in charter, it's 82% of our budget. So there's not a lot of discretionary spending left aside from that. With a lot of pressure across the board, that's eased a little bit. Inflationary pressures have definitely been a challenge to school districts around the state. Our adopted budget analysis is here, where we can compare some of the categories where we're spending our dollars. The big picture really we're looking at is that expenses, and this is a 4-year comparison. So expenses are outpacing revenues by over 4 years, about $1.2 million. And I think that really tells, a tale of the pressure, of the inflation that we've been talking a little bit about. I've been talking a little bit about. So, it's going to be a challenge. It always is, with 2% tax levy growth, to be able to weather
Bless you.
inflationary. Bless you.
Thank you.
So super important to keep that in mind as we move forward. Yes, Debbie.
Curriculum jumped. Are there just maybe a couple little highlights? It's, I'm sorry. Oh, here, this?
Well, that
Wait a
was
minute.
that
Oh, I'm
was,
sorry. I didn't realize it was 21, 22.
That was a very low
very
number.
Yeah. No, I didn't have
Yes.
the year.
We also
Yep.
have a lot of like ESSER funding. That
Yeah,
was
yeah.
coming
Oh,
in
yeah.
At that
Okay.
time to offset that. But you will, so on the board agenda for approval, program adoption night is a new K-5 ELA program, and that is in the budget. It is not an additional cost. It is built into the budget, and we stayed flat. So we didn't add. We are really trying to utilize what we have.
When I started here about 5.5 years ago now, we didn't really have enough in the budget to adopt curricula, on a rotational basis. So we've kind of level funded that and done a great job in allocating our resources more effectively, from my point of view. This is what I was talking about. The change between the tentative adoptions about 6 weeks ago on March 18th was related to our debt service. The bond sale was done on a week after, on March 25th, and then the bonds closed on April 8th. So that did increase by about $114,000 our debt service tax levy, which means we just amended. We will amend and adopt our budget. The bond sale was at 4.02%. We had hoped to be around 3.75%. So that's that. Our revenues, we went over this a lot at the last budget meeting. Nothing's changed on the general fund side from tentative adoption till now. Expenditure analysis, and then any questions relating to, from the board first, and then from the massive amount of public. There are a few people here, so we'll take the questions up at the dais first.
Thank you, Mr. Bolden. Great job. A couple things. Our state aid was reduced this year. Can you just tell us what that amount was?
Yes, our state aid was reduced by about the same percentage, thankfully, that our charter school tuition went down this year. So when we get increases in our state aid, it's usually followed an increase in charter, they've kind of walked lockstep over the last few years.
So was it about a 3% decrease, Mr. Bolden, in state aid?
So 3%. Yes, that's right. The state basically had a few categories where we fell into the 3% decrease.
Mm-hmm.
And there was some districts that were increased. And then a few were allowed to, not a few, but maybe like 15% were allowed to increase their tax levy beyond the 2% based on their loss of revenues from S2. But we weren't in that category.
And the charter school, did the formula change, or do we just have less children going?
Not less children.
No?
It stayed
Okay.
flat. The tuition rate stabilized after 2 years of increases.
So it's didn't go up. Is that what you're saying?
Correct.
Okay.
So the decrease in state aid, our increase in charter school was moderated, so it helped.
Okay. And then my last question is, so the overall tax levy increase includes the funding for the operating as well as the debt service?
Correct.
So the number you're showing is the whole number?
Correct.
Great. Thank you. Great job.
Thanks.
Any other questions?
Would you be able to just speak quickly? I mean, we've done about 4 referenda in the last 5 or 6 years. And I think, this year we see this, we did the work on capacity. So it did make a big jump in the taxes. But, in general, we've talked as a board that we don't anticipate, we've now brought the buildings up to speed. We've done the roofs, we've done all the a lot of the HVAC. So what projects we see in the future for the near future are really we'll take them out of reserves or whatever, but we don't intend to go back to taxpayers.
That definitely is the plan, I think, with absolutely finalizing some projects related to the earlier referendums this summer.
I just think it's important for the public to understand we've just done an enormous amount of work on the buildings and brought things up to speed. And then finally, we did the capacity referendum in January, which really allows us to expand to meet the growth of the community and welcome all those children. And I think as a committee from the operations perspective, we're grateful that the community has been supportive of all of that. But we've done the roofs, we've done the main systems of the buildings, and we hope that now we're going to be able to focus on implementing those with fidelity, and we're confident we have a great team to do that.
All right. So right now is public comment on the budget. Is that part of the consent? It's part of the consent, right?
Correct.
Okay. Is there any public comment on the budget? Oh, please come up. Just state your name, the street you live on.
Thank you, everyone, for all your hard work on this budget. My name is Michael Sheehan. I live on Lover's Lane. I noticed looking at the total expenditure schedule, that last chart that was up on the screen, the proposed budget for this coming school year is a little over $111 million. And that's up about $2.8 million against this current year's school budget. But you all did a great job in this current year and saved over $3 million compared to what you planned. So the new budget is up almost $6.1 million over what you actually spent in this current school year, or close to 5.9%. And I'm curious whether or not those kind of year-to-year increases are what we can expect going forward.
Well, one of the, we were forced to, in New Jersey, we have very conservative state laws. So we're forced to this year budget, since I've been here 6 years, six budget now, almost $4 million of fund balance, which we don't anticipate in spending. So it makes the past budget look like it's increasing at a faster growth rate than it appears. The goal is to, at least break even, but we've been adding back some fund balance over the years. So it's one of the mechanisms of the state budgeting laws in New Jersey. It's very conservative. And we go through that when we do our debt service reviews. Like when we just issued these bonds, we have to go in front of Moody's, and they compare us to other school districts around the country. New Jersey is very conservative, and they look for a lot more fund balance around the nation. So we take a little bit of a hit when it comes to Moody's, but we still have a AAA rating, but it's one of the areas where we do struggle with. So it's that you can see here at the bottom, the fund balance of $3.9 million.
So you have to add that into your revenues.
Yes.
And then to create your balanced budget, your expense side has to equal the same bottom line.
Exactly.
And there's no flexibility on that amount of money. It has to be a figure that's up there.
Yeah, I mean, there are some, games you can play to lower that number, and it just creates a little more of a challenge, because if we couldn't spend that money, I mean, we could, but if they were recurring expenses, we'd be in a lot of trouble the following year. So it's kind of just a little nuance of the New Jersey school district budgeting model.
So is it a fair conclusion then to say that the budget is a little bit higher than we expect we're going to actually use? Because that's what the experience was for this school year.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. All right. Now, are there any other comments about the budget? No. I know there's another comment from a very patient young man. If you would like to come up and talk to us, just tell us your first name and what school you go to, please.
Well,
Wait, hold on.
it's in an essay. So it's like a speech / essay. So.
Can I move this?
Hello.
Hello. Thanks, Chris. What's your name?
I'll say that. Okay. Good evening. I'm Teddy Sierra, a fourth grader at Riverside. Recently, the U.S. Secretary of Health, RFK Jr., made false comments about autism, like people with autism are broken, that autism is caused by vaccines, and that people with autism will never have jobs or families. But that's not true. I have autism and I'm not broken, and I hope that nobody in Princeton Public Schools believes RFK Jr.'s lies. Autism and all disabilities should be taught in the Princeton Public Schools curriculum at all grade levels because it will raise awareness, increase acceptance, and improve the quality of life for kids with disabilities. But first, here's a quote from a Changing Perspectives article called Disability Inclusion in Education. A truly inclusive environment does not value one marginalized group over another. Instead, it recognizes the unique backgrounds of all members of the community, including but not limited to cultural heritage, religion, socioeconomic status, sexual orientation, gender, disability, or any other differences. Princeton Public Schools already recognizes Autism Awareness Month, but not much. There are posters in the cafeteria that say to be kind and inclusive. Students wear blue on April 2nd, but we are never taught about the spectrum of autism. And I'm just going to skip this part because, that all people...
Take your time.
Kids need to be taught more about the different kinds of autism. That autism is a natural variation in the genes that you are born with, not caused by vaccines, and about successful people with autism. The lesson should also be extended to other disabilities like ADHD, cerebral palsy, blindness, deafness, dyslexia, apraxia, and more. This is important because it will teach kids how to accept people with disabilities. Accepting someone means really understanding someone for who they are and not minding their differences. I want everyone to know that people with autism and other disabilities are not tragedies, but just different, like all people. If everyone understood more about autistic people and about other people with other disabilities, they would know more about how to treat them, what their lives are like, and that they don't need to be fixed or cured. This will help kids with disabilities have a better life. When people are aware of disabilities and are accepting them, they will have friends and less bullying. Also, the teachers might be more aware because they learned about the disabilities also. Kids and teachers should know more about disabilities so they do not believe RFK Jr. is right about autism, and they choose to treat them in a nice way that is good for the kid. By knowing more about it, kids and teachers will be nicer to the kids with disabilities. This is important to me in Princeton Public Schools because I have a disability and I noticed that disabilities were not being taught, only a few people mentioning autism. When teaching about culture, we teach many different cultures to accept them better because that's what disabilities are like, a culture of differences. Princeton Public Schools must add this to the curriculum of all grades and students so that we don't have people like RFK Jr. in the future. I want to end with the district mission statement. Our mission is to prepare all of our students to lead lives of joy and purpose as knowledgeable, creative, and compassionate citizens of a global society. Adding disabilities to kids' education will make them knowledgeable and compassionate and help kids with disabilities to lead lives of joy and purpose. Any questions that I have to stay up on the podium for?
Wait, thank you. Your name is Teddy, right?
Yeah.
Teddy.
Well, my real name is William, but my nickname is Teddy, so please call me Teddy.
Oh, well, call you Teddy. We loved it. Is it possible for you to email us your speech? Is that okay? Yeah.
That would be great. So we can share it.
It was really nice.
Very powerful.
Maybe we'll put it on the website. If you're okay with that.
Fine.
All right. Just let us know when you email it, if that's okay. But that was really beautiful. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Did you get cake? All right. Well, I mean, we made you wait, but all right. All right. Moving on now. Policies. We're going to get back to the agenda. Good night.
Thank you.
J1, policies for a second reading. Moving on to K1, harassment, intimidation, bullying. Moving on to board committee reports, highlights, and we have long-term planning with Beth.
Thank you. Long-term planning met on April 24th, and we were able to hear some of the planning work that's being done by our architects, and we really appreciated going through some of the plans for the buildings and seeing where those are coming. And we offered a few suggestions, and we know that those are going to continue to develop. They're being done with consultation with our administrators and our teachers and our staff and the people who are using the buildings. And we are working on a schedule to talk about when those will be presented to the board and then the public, so people have a chance to give some input. And our next meeting is on May 22nd.
All right, next up is, thank you, Beth. Next up is operations with Susan Canner.
Hi, we met on April 9th at 8 a.m. on Zoom. We began, as we usually do, going over our project reviews, which included projects still being completed from the 2022 referendum. You'll be very glad to know, Andrew, we still have a little more HVAC coming, so you'll be able to work on that this summer at the middle school, among other places. We also have referendum projects that were mentioned earlier, like the vestibule that we were really excited to get the doors in, and we saw a picture and they look amazing. So we were very happy that that finally was able to come to conclusion. This summer we'll be working on the detention basins, doing playground work, the track and field and the football field, and the softball the softball scoreboard will be among the projects this summer. And then we're going to begin the first projects of the 2025 referendum, which will be the bleachers at the high school. And as Beth mentioned, we are starting to see the work from the architects in detail so that those plans can move forward. As we always do, we discuss sustainability. And in that presentation, we discussed plans for a electric charging station and how that might be implemented. Our next meeting will be May 14th at 8 a.m. and it's open to the public.
Thank you, Susan. Next up is personnel with Debbie.
Yes. So personnel met on April 10th. We had the honor of meeting Andrew, who will be approved tonight.
He was approved.
Huh? Oh, sorry. Yeah, sorry. Okay. We had the pleasure of meeting Andrew and approving him already. John McMichael spoke to the committee to share that guidance counselors will be available again over the summer at the high school and the middle school. This is, I think, the third year the board has supported summer counseling for our families, and we know this has been really, really helpful for families during the summer to figure out what's going on. The committee discussed hiring a mental health counselor. This job description will be on the agenda tonight. And we also discussed other personnel issues. Thank you.
Thank you, Debbie. Next up is policy with Beth.
Thank you. Policy met on April 9th, and we talked about the second read. We didn't have any new policies, and we talked very briefly about what's going on second read. And then we actually spent a bit of time talking with the administrators about the progress that we're making in terms of our AI policy and plan, and how that's evolving, and the ways that we're trying to train our staff and administrators and even potentially the board, so that we are able to try to keep up with the development of AI and the impact on teaching and learning. And our next meeting will be on May 14th.
Thank you. Next up is student achievement with Eleanor.
Thank you. Student achievement met on April 11th at 10:30 on Zoom. First, we had 2 field trips to approve. One was presented by Jenna Peluso, who was here earlier, about the children from Johnson Park who are state champions and have qualified to travel to the University of Indiana Bloomington for the Future Problem Solvers team. So we are very proud of them and wish them well. And there was also a field trip for the Euro Challenge team, which I think went to semifinals in New York just yesterday. Then SAC heard that humanities and math supervisors present this summer's reading and math assignments. As usual, the math assignments are optional and the K-5 reading assignments are recommendations, but our middle school and high school students do have required readings to complete over the summer. Then our supervisor of counseling, John McMichael, shared an update about Tier 2 mental health supports at PHS, which we also heard about today in Dr. Foster's presentation. After that, we went into closed session. 2 items from our closed session are on the agenda for approval tonight: the adoption of arts and letters as the new K-5 ELA curriculum, and the approval of a partnership with Catholic Charities, which is being funded by the New Jersey statewide student support services. These mental health services are free for Mercer County students, and will allow us to increase the support that's available to students in our elementary schools. And it's important for people to realize that despite the name Catholic Charities, they are not religious in nature, and they are open to students regardless of their background. And our next meeting will be on May 16th at 10:30 on Zoom, and members of the public are welcome to attend.
Thank you, Eleanor. And I'll just say that I just want to add that we all met the Catholic Charities therapist leadership, and they were very personable and I believe in line with the values that our district
I got the
has.
impression they were very open and very culturally sensitive.
Yeah. Yep. All right. Thank you for that. And next up is, do you have a comment on equity? When's the next meeting?
It's in June. I was going to comment next month.
June what? Sorry, June 9th
Yeah. Yes, June 9th on Zoom.
on Zoom at 6 o'clock. Okay.
So maybe I may have to change the time.
Okay, that might be subject to, we'll update the board next month. Moving on now to M1, M personnel retirements. I just want to point out we have 4 teachers resigning with, if my math is right, 117 years. 3 teachers and 1, 2 aides, 1 controller, and 1 fifth grade teacher. And I know Jen McCauley, we actually share a dog from the same breeder. She's been here a long time. I wish her all the best in her retirement. She actually got a second dog. And Sarah Schwimmer, 5th grade teacher at Littlebrook, taught both my children, and she will have completed 36 years in the district. And those are big shoes to fill. Next up, we have M2 resignations, M3 appointments, M4 transfer reassignment, M5 personnel item, M6 leave of absence, M7 substitute student placement, M8 curriculum and instruction, M9 student services, M10 job description, and M11 6th period compensation revisions. Moving on, we have a curriculum and instruction, and 1 is the MLU for dual enrollment, the second year at CCNJ, and 2 is the ELA program that Dr. Tu and Eleanor mentioned. And 3 is the K5 ELA program. And 4 professional services, Catholic Charities, and 5 is educational consultants, Princeton Family Institute for summer, and 6 is student overnight trips, and 7 is student day trips. Moving on now to O, student services, special education, O1, educational placement of pupils, 24-25, O2, Horizon Healthcare staffing, O3, care option for kids, and moving on, the adoption of the final budget, which we just did. I need to check something here on the, hold on one second.
Financial reports is action item.
Is an action item. Can I get a motion, please? Ari, second. Mara? Thank you.
Daphne Kendall,
Abstain?
Beth Barron,
Yes.
Debbie Brownfeld,
Yes.
Maura Franceschi,
Yes.
Eleanor Hubbard,
Yes.
Susan Cantor,
Yes.
Ari Mizell,
Yes.
Chris Santarpio,
Yes.
Catherine Lara.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Bolden. P3, fire and evacuation drills. P4, lawnmower contracts. P5, JAG 1 athletic trainer support services. And P6, registration travel agenda. Moving on now to our second public comment. Is there anyone else who would like to speak? No? Well, thank you for coming. Hope you had some cake. Good. All right, moving on now. Approval of the consent agenda item. Can I get a motion? Ari, second. Beth?
Daphne Kendall,
Yes.
Beth Barron,
Yes.
Debbie Brownfeld,
Yes.
Maura Franceschi,
Yes.
Eleanor Hubbard,
Yes.
Susan Cantor,
Yes.
Ari Mizell,
Yes.
Chris Santarpio,
Yes.
Catherine Lara.
Yes.
Consent agenda passes.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Bolden. Great job on the budget.
Thank you.
And really great job on the brevity. After 6 years, you finally shortened it down.
Are you saying I'm long-winded?
You're passionate.
High maintenance and long-winded?
Oh, you are.
It's a joke, sorry.
And very witty.
Yes. But we'll miss you. But I think we have a good person to fill your shoes.
Yes, it
Yes.
seems as such.
Yeah. Hopefully
Welcome aboard.
Hopefully he's not as cranky. All right.
I can be cranky on occasion. I'm very self-aware.
Oh, like, I just want to hug you. All right. Our next meeting is next Tuesday, May 6th at 6 o'clock. It's our tenure reappointment hearing. And with that, can I get a motion to adjourn? Beth, second. Chris, all in favor? All right. Have a good night.